Campus romance is always young and beautiful. Do you still remember the person sitting next to you on campus? Lin Yi, who was already 30 years old, accidentally recalled his long-separated table mate. The relationship between the two was vigorous back then. Now he has lost those. Although I was reluctant to give up, time had passed. Looking back at this drama now, I found the details hidden in the story. Who doesn't have a few homophonic numbers in their youth? The girl only has a girlfriend for 5 minutes a day, 21 minutes a week. Just 13 minutes. Give you 14 minutes. These numbers represent I love you in Chinese, which is also the regrettable end of a generation's youth. To be honest, although the plot in the movie has shortcomings, when I finished watching the movie, my thoughts were instantly pulled back to that era. We will think back to the table mate who once sat next to us and spent countless youthful years together. The film was inspired by the campus song of the same name written by Gao Xiaosong. When Gao Xiaosong was studying at Xiamen University, he wrote this song, My Old Classmate, that swept China based on his real experience. The movie version of My Old Classmate is a richer interpretation on the basis of the song. The story begins in the summer of 1993, when Lin Yi is 30 years old. He stood on the bustling streets of America. Now he is dressed very modestly, as if he works in a large company. He said that he has been working here for 10 years and has already accumulated a huge fortune, bought a quiet 3-bedroom apartment, and has a well-educated fiancé, and even breakfast must be high-end. It was a 3 Michelin-starred restaurant. It seems that all this is happy, but his life is not as beautiful as imagined. The so-called big house is just a noisy residential house next to it. And as for his fiancée, it's just his imagination. In fact, he takes the subway to and from work every day, and his ordinary life can no longer be ordinary. On this day, he received a letter from China, opened it, and had a lot of thoughts. It was someone he knew very well, and this was the wedding invitation of his first love. Lin Yi angrily threw the invitation into the trash can. He vented his unbearable life. After a busy day, he came home and saw a house full of garbage, dirty. He was not angry. It seemed that everything was taken for granted. However, when Lin Yi was about to spend the night with his fiancée, he was dumbfounded the moment he opened the door. The fiancée is having sex with someone else. Lin Yi didn't bother too much, just frantically slapped their photos. Immediately after he packed his luggage, he resolutely returned to the company, picked up the invitation in the trash can, and took advantage of the gap when he returned to China to talk about business. He was going to her wedding hall. On the plane, he opened a wooden box, then took out a worn-out pair of glasses, and gradually the memory in his mind also emerged. It was Wednesday, and a new female classmate came to the class. Her name was Zhou Xiaoji. Her wish was to be admitted to Stanford University. Everyone saw her wearing sunglasses in broad daylight and laughed, thinking she was blind. In this way, Zhou Xiaoji, a junior high school transfer student, met his deskmate Lin Yi for the first time. At that time, Lin Yi sat in the last row. He is a mischievous boy, while Zhou Xiaoji is a quiet and weak girl. When Zhou Xiaoji took off her sunglasses, Lin Yi, who was at the same table, saw her appearance and instantly felt excited. Lin Yi fell in love with Zhou Xiaoji at first sight and began a journey of protection. Whenever Zhou Xiaoji was bullied, the seemingly naughty Lin Yi would always step forward to protect the girl. Looking at the injured Lin Yi, Zhou Xiaoji took out the cherished milk candy and gave it to him. Gradually, the relationship between the two changed from strange to familiar. A hazy emotion quietly grew in their hearts. At the later party, Lin Yi played his specialty instrument and played the song, My Old Classmate. Time flies, and they arrive at high school in the blink of an eye. In order to be in the same class as Zhou Xiaoji, Lin Yi resolutely transferred to the liberal arts class, but the teacher couldn't let him act so recklessly, so he forcibly moved him back. Later, he became angry and tried to be strong. He finally paid off his efforts and transferred to the liberal arts class. And the handsome Lin Yi naturally attracted the love of many girls. Looking at the girls who gathered around, Xiaoji was fine on the surface, but she was very jealous in her heart. Since Lin Yi has more girls around him, Xiaoji wanted to use the labor service to relieve his unhappiness, but she didn't expect her to stand too high and fell down without stabilizing. After Lin Yi saw it, he immediately went up to help, and even saw that her legs and feet were inconvenient, so he carried her directly. Gradually, under Lin Yi's care, Gardenia's foot also recovered. In order to repay him, Gardenia went to the movies with him. Lin Yi wanted to take the opportunity to put his hand on her shoulder, but the violent sound prevented him from succeeding. It turned out that the Chinese embassy was bombed. In that era full of passion and blood, Lin Yi did not hesitate to join the demonstration. Lin Yi took the lead in collective protests, but the college entrance examination was imminent, and no one dared to go. Zhou Xiaoji was worried about Lin Yi and ran to find him. She squeezed into the crowd and found Lin Yi. Advised him to go back. Lin Yi asked her why she was worried and offered to leave if Xiaoji was his girlfriend. On this inappropriate occasion, The two held hands for the first time. Seeing Lin Yi, who was full of justice, pulled himself out of the crowd, Xiao Gardenia's love sprout. Unexpectedly, the two were mistaken by the school for participating in the parade without authorization, and they were punished for this. After this incident, Lin Yi confessed to Zhou Xiaoji, hoping that she could be his girlfriend. In order to encourage Lin Yi to study hard, Zhou Xiaoji agreed with him. As long as the two can be admitted to the same university, she agreed to be his girlfriend. For this agreement, Lin Yi began to study hard, and Zhou Xiaoji also silently supported him behind his back. After the college entrance examination, Lin Yi and Zhou Xiaoji were admitted to the same university as they wished. On the college campus, Lin Yi fulfilled the agreement between them to Zhou Xiaoji, and Zhou Xiaoji became his girlfriend. Zhou Xiaoji asked Lin Yi to work harder, and since then Lin Yi has followed Zhou Xiaoji in class, urging the two to quickly determine the relationship. Although Xiaoji is his girlfriend, but Lin Yi's status is still in the testing stage. The teacher couldn't stand it anymore, so he picked up the chalk head and threw it at him. This scene is so classic that it evokes too many people's memories. Until the advent of the new millennium, Xiaoji expressed her wish to Lin Yi. The first is to go to Stanford. Her second wish was to hold a wedding in the church. Her wedding is now held, but unfortunately the groom is not him. That day, Xiaoji saw a beautiful scenery, and she instantly wanted to take a photo to record this scene. I don't know where Lin Yi got the camera, so let her hurry up and take pictures. Time seems to be frozen at that moment. The appearance of a person breaks their good times. It turned out that Lin Yi had snatched someone else's camera, and they didn't borrow him and snatched it. At this time, Zhou Xiaoji also agreed to be his girlfriend, but she made a new request. They only have 5 minutes a day in a romantic relationship. This seemingly childish agreement is full of youthful innocence and shyness, as well as the love full of details. The time came to January 1st, 2000, and they were preparing for the English exam. Lin Yi chose a quiet place to review. In fact, we all know that the quieter the place, the more dangerous it is. Lin Yi slowly stepped forward and slowly took off Xiaoji's scarf. Xiaoji saw that his body was full of sand, so he asked him to wash it. In fact, Gardenia is calculating how to hide these 5 minutes. When he came out of the shower, the 5 minutes of being his girlfriend had passed, and Lin Yi jumped up and down, and he had to review honestly. In the boys' dormitory, a group of people developed a bug and used it on English level 4. With the cooperation of several of them, the 4th level passed easily. But Xiaoji didn't know that Lin Yi passed like this, so he rewarded him from the previous 5 minutes to 21 minutes. When they came to the hotel again, Lin Yi washed up, but Gardenia locked him in the bathroom again this time, slowly exhausting his 21 minutes. A year later, Lin Yi received an email from Xiaoji's father, which was full of Stanford University materials. Xiaoji's father called and told Lin Yi. Zhou Xiaoji gave up Peking University for Lin Yi and came to Xiamen University. He wanted Lin Yi to persuade Xiaoji. Lin Yi was shocked when she heard this, and found Zhou Xiaoji that night, and asked her why she didn't go to Peking University. A girl is willing to give up Peking University for her boyfriend. This sounds ridiculous, but perhaps in the long river of history, there must have been someone who sacrificed like this, I want to believe. Xiaoji knew that she loved Lin Yi deeply and was unwilling to go to anything. At this time, it was pouring rain in the sky, and Xiaoji took Lin Yi's hand. She said that she would not let Lin Yi leave herself behind, and begged Lin Yi not to let herself go. This scene made Lin Yi very distressed, and he decided that he must marry Xiaoji. That night, the love between the two reached its peak, and they secretly tasted the forbidden fruit. After waking up, Lin Yi vowed to accompany Xiaoji to the United States, and Xiaoji was also very happy after hearing this. In the days that followed, Lin Yi worked hard to memorize English, but unfortunately his spoken language was so bad that even his roommates laughed at him. By chance, a roommate's sentence of social network inspired Lin Yi. Then Lin Yi began to turn on the computer and began to build a website day and night, which is the theory of 6 degrees of separation. We may have heard this concept on many occasions, and it means that any two people in the world who do not know each other, on average, they only need 6 intermediaries to establish a connection. The topological relationship refers to the spatial connection and adjacency relationship between elements. Even if there is no specific location, the combination of the two is called a social network. This moment aroused the imitation of the teachers and students of the whole school. However, the road to love is never smooth sailing. Lin Yi's classmate Tom took the initiative to pursue Zhou Xiaoji, which made Lin Yi feel extremely disgusted, and the two broke out in conflict because of this. After a long time, Lin Yi was very disgusted with Xiaoji's girlfriend Time, because when the time came, Lin Yi was forced to break up. He attributes all his anger to Tom, and a big battle is about to break out. Several people started a milk-drinking war in the bathroom. In the end, they fought because no one was convinced, so several people were recorded. Zhou Xiaoji punished Lin Yi for his irrational behavior, reducing the time the two spent together to 13 minutes a day. Then Gardenia came to the hospital to apologize to Tom for her boyfriend. She exposed his pretending to be a foreigner, leaving Tom embarrassed. Tom no longer hid it, and confessed directly to Gardenia. Xiaoji refused him without the slightest hesitation. Lin Yi is her boyfriend, and the two of them will get married in the future, and Lin Yi said that he would take her to a distant place. Lin Yi's promise to Xiaoji will actually be fulfilled one by one at the end of the movie. Soon after, Zhou Xiaoji became pregnant unexpectedly, and she ran to ask Lin Yi how to deal with it. Both of them were inexperienced for the first time, and Lin Yi didn't know what to do. He could only take her for an abortion, but he didn't expect it to cause heavy bleeding. Zhou Xiaoji was rushed to the hospital, and Lin Yi was driven away by Zhou Xiaoji's father. After Zhou Xiaoji recovered and was discharged from the hospital, he was disappointed that Lin Yi did not come to see him and broke up. Just when their relationship was at an impasse, SARS broke out. Lin Yi unfortunately became a suspected case and was isolated. The roommates were very worried about him. Because the floor was not high, they climbed up with a ladder and wanted to take him back, but Lin Yi couldn't come out. Xiaoji was worried about Lin Yi. She climbed up and knocked on the glass with a flashlight, but Lin Yi still had a tough attitude and refused to go out. She had no choice but to turn around and smash the glass. What she smashed was not only the glass, but also the stalemate between the two, and they got back together. Lin Yi was stunned when he saw the girl, and immediately put a mask on Xiaoji, fearing that she would be infected with the virus. Xiaoji had tears in her eyes and cried that she wanted Lin Yi to take her to a distant place. She wanted to go to a place where only they were there. Xiaoji returned the previous 13 minutes to Lin Yi, allowing him to continue to run this road of love. In the middle of the night, Zhou Xiaoji and Lin Yi's roommates took the risk to help Lin Yi escape from the quarantine area. With the efforts of everyone's joint resistance, they were arrested and criticized by the whole school and public. The appearance of this incident made the relationship between the two deeper. Zhou Xiaoji reset the lover time between the 2 to 14 minutes. In the days that followed, they all work hard. Because Lin Yi had established a social networking site, she quickly successfully interviewed for an American company. Lin Yi promised that after Xiaoji was admitted to Stanford, the two would meet and fall in love abroad. They have already envisioned a better life in the future. At the graduation party, the students were full of enthusiasm and looked forward to the future passionately, and everyone was very happy. Only when asked about the situation on Xiaoji's side of Stanford, Xiaoji looked at Xiaoji hesitantly and couldn't speak. Xiaoji just asked Lin Yi, if she didn't go to Stanford, would Lin Yi still go? At this time, Lin Yi was already drunk. He said he would follow her anywhere. After the party, they quickly went on a trip abroad. Memory always likes to add fuel and vinegar, and it will modify in the direction you expect. When you are ecstatic, the occasional mistake will wake you up, and then you will truly realize that memory is not the same as the truth. They played all over the streets. After Xiaoji asked him to get there, he would settle down the house first, and then live with him when he went over. She also kept telling him not to smoke or hunchback. When she arrived at the airport, Xiao Gardenia reluctantly sent her beloved Lin Yi away, and gave him a wooden box when she was leaving, so that Lin Yi could keep it first. The two held hands, and were about to live a happy life. No one expected that Lin Yi had just left, but Xiaoji cried. When Lin Yi called Xiaoji in the United States, she told Lin Yi that she would not go to the United States, and should not call again. The two have since parted ways. Lin Yi and Zhou Xiaoji agreed to wait for her. But no one expected that this wait would be 10 years. But what was waiting for was the wedding invitation of Zhou Xiaoji and others. Lin Yi came to the wedding scene with a gift, and he was very nervous at the moment. Goodbye for many years. I didn't expect things to be different. Seeing that he was about to see Gardenia, he was still so nervous that he cried, ran into the toilet, and began to tidy himself up. The classmates of the year are all here, but it seems that the groom does not give face. And in the face of Xiaoji's old classmates, the groom comments on others. Finally, Lin Yi slowly appeared with a gift. Xiaoji also looked at the man in front of her who accompanied her youth, and her heart was mixed. Xiaoji only introduced Lin Yi as her classmate, who came back from the United States. Several people at the dinner table drank too much. Xiaoji confided in Lin Yi the reason for the separation. It turned out that Lin Yi got a visa to the United States, but Zhou Xiaoji failed. Her Stanford application failed, and in the end they lost to reality. Gardenia opened the gift with tears in her eyes. It was the wooden box and harmonica she gave Lin Yi back then, which were the most precious gifts, carrying too many memories for them. At the wedding scene, he recalled the bits and pieces of acquaintance, and love with Zhou Xiaoji. Those good things and regrets they once had surged into his heart like a tide. The church wedding that Gardenia wanted was also held, but unfortunately the protagonist was replaced. At the end of the movie, Lin Yi interrupted their vows after the priest read them, saying that he did not agree to the wedding. The people around him stepped forward to stop him, and his good buddies from the past also joined the battle. Lin Yi resisted hard, desperately reaching forward, trying to grab Xiaoji and take her away. All kinds of memories of the past came to mind. Just like in school, they ran in the chaos, holding their lover's hand. But such an idea is basically unrealistic. Lin Yi in the seat thought of these feelings, but it was no longer what it used to be. That's right, all this was imagined by Lin Yi. After the baptism of time, they were no longer as brave and fearless as before. And the numbers that Zhou Xiaoji gave to Lin Yi also hide Zhou Xiaoji's deep affection for Lin Yi. I only lend you 5 minutes a day to be my boyfriend, a total of 21 minutes. 13 minutes. 14 minutes. These numbers are connected to the Chinese I love you for a lifetime. The reason why the love between Zhou Xiaoji and Lin Yi in the movie is so moving, not only because of their innocent feelings, but also because of the helplessness and struggle of this relationship in the face of reality. Lin Yi's helplessness in the face of Zhou Xiaoji's pregnancy, his cowardice when Zhou Xiaoji's father asked him to leave, and the unsatisfactory life in the United States all reflect the difficulties he faced as a boy growing up. And Zhou Xiaoji was an ignorant girl from the beginning. Later, she gave up the opportunity to study abroad for love, and then her helpless choice to face reality, and every growth she grew up was accompanied by pain and sacrifice. Their love is like the epitome of most people's youth, full of sweetness and bitterness, the collision of ideals and reality. Now that many years have passed since the movie, do you remember that person? Youth may not be perfect, and love may leave regrets, but these are an integral part of our growth. It allows us to look back on the past. We can laugh and cry because those past experiences, good or bad, have become the most precious memories of our lives. Lin Yi is my boyfriend, and he said he wanted to take me to a place where there were just the two of us. Wednesday, September 1st, 1993. That was the starting point of memory, a place where there were just the two of us.